Welcome back to my channel Esther in Spain. Today I have come to Palencia to have lunch with Manuel de Prado from a company called Selectos de Castilla. He's the founder and owner of this company. This company has its own duck farm and also has its own factory to produce all the duck products including foie gras. And today we are eating in a restaurant that is his client called Restaurante La Traceria in Palencia City. So we are going to have some dishes made with his products, and so and we will talk about the gastronomy of duck products in Spain and also the tradition.
Foie con chocolate blanco y un poquito de yogur y pimienta negra. Buen provecho.
So I'm going to eat it with the hand. So this is the mikut with the chocolate, and so I always have the mikut at home because they are really like ice cream to me. It's so creamy and so smooth, it melts in your mouth. And I really love it, the mikut. I always have it at home to be like an appetizer for my guests.
This is a stone made with mikui, as you say, and mixed with yogurt. It's a very soft product. Really is one of our best product because it offers what is duck liver just with salt and pepper, and the duck liver sweet very well with chocolate, in this case with white chocolate. Smooth things goes very well with duck liver, and here we got a very well balanced product in between smooth and salted, sugar and salted, a little acidity just enough. And right now, after 10 seconds, you got all the flavors coming all back in the plate.
It's funny. Actually, I have a little bit of like because it has a bit of citric, no? You think it has in the top of the throat, you feel a bit of the taste, the citric taste there, and also the taste stays in your mouth for so long. And now I want a sip of wine. Manuel, I think actually last time I came to your factory, you explained a lot about the history of producing foie gras. And so it seems the history is actually very long, right? Can you explain to us a bit?
Yes, of course. It's very well known that foie gras has a lot of years of history. In fact, it's the first people to discover how to make the foie gras, how to obtain duck liver fattened, were the Egyptian people more than 4,000 years ago. So Egyptian people discovered that the migrating fellows were able to fatten their liver before flying the big migration flight. So what they have done is to breed ducks and goose and fatten these domestical animals to obtain foie gras. What was the fact that has spread all the knowledge of obtaining foie gras in all Europe and north of Africa and also Asia was the Roman Empire and the Jewish people. So during centuries, to obtain grease, to obtain good meats, we were fattening ducks all around the Mediterranean area. It means all Europe, Western Europe, Eastern Europe, north of Africa, and also Asia. So we got a great knowledge during centuries. But what happened is that in France, after the Roman Empire, because the Roman people has knowledge, and where you had Roman settlements. You have knowledge of how to fatten a duck, from Spain to Britannia to North Germania to Egypt, also from Asian country in Turkish countries, and they were able to fatten duck to obtain foie gras. So it has been done for a lot of centuries. But in fact, French people that are well known for their culture and gastronomical culture use one of the treasures they have, that is their weather. They got a lot of water. They got a lot of knowledge of how to fatten a duck, and they developed a lot of good and great recipes with duck liver. And in fact, they were the best ambassadors from foie gras.
You know, Manuel, when I have friends coming to my house and I want to impress them and to show off a bit my cooking, so I order a whole duck from Selectos de Castilla, and I have to say, it's huge. I've never seen such a huge duck. It weighs maybe 4-point-something kilo. So can I say the quality of the duck is in line with the size of the duck?
Sure. In the case of a duck that we breed in Selectos de Castilla, we breed them with the time they need in the nature to be adult enough to be fattened. So we need our ducks, to be great enough, big enough to be fattened, to make great migrating fly. So effectively, the size of our duck is almost a sign of quality. If you got a big duck able to fly a lot of kilometers, going in our case from Spain to Sweden and back in winter and so on, you need them to be very, very big ones in order to have their liver accumulating fat inside without suffering. So for us, it's very important that it's a big duck, big enough, a strong one, a duck that is able to walk alone, to make a lot of exercise. That for us means a good quality of meat, because it's an animal that is walking all around, making great exercise, and this gives us the quality of the meat, the structure of the meat. And of course, what they eat is very important. So, of course, the size of the animal is very important for us.
Actually, I learned from you last time I visited the farm. Actually, you only give the whole corn to the ducks. So the crop, I mean the ducks have a crop to store the food, so that when you feed them, they store in the crop. It's not, it doesn't go directly to the stomach. And so when they are hungry, the food stored in the crop will go down to the stomach. And so this way is a natural digestion, right? So, but then there are some other factories that they feed the ducks with the porridge. So the porridge go directly to the stomach, and that's why it has skipped the natural digestion process, and the quality of the liver is not as good.
Of course, if the duck is able to control his own digestion, it means that it will be in a very good mood and in a very good moment for him. If we fatten them too quickly, if he's not able to control his digestion, he will suffer, and we won't have quality of duck liver. So it's very important.
Yeah, that's why I think the most important thing about having a good product, animal product, is to treat them humanly, right? And so that they're happy, and so you get good quality meat.
Of course, if we follow the steps of the nature, we will get a very, very good product.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell you, and I always have the products in my house, and this is something that I always consume a lot, and also when I have guests, I always serve them, especially the good.
Ensalada de jamón de pato con vinagreta de maracuyá y unas gambitas cocidas, ¿vale? Muy bueno el jamón de pato.
Wow, Manuel, this dish is so good. You said this restaurant is not a very it's a traditional restaurant, but they make a twist, right, to make it a bit more modern. And actually, I would say I've never tried a salad like this. It has some salad leaves, and melon, and duck ham. You know, duck goes very well with something sweet. And then it has this sauce of passion fruit. It's a little bit acidic, so usually we have to put some sort of vinegar in the salad. So instead of putting the regular vinegar, they put this passion fruit sauce, and I think this is actually quite innovative, and I really like this dish.
It's really interesting, that dish, because you got something that comes from the sea. You got meat coming from the duck. You got fresh fruit.
Yeah.
And all those flavors are very strong. But even if they are very strong, when you melt all the dish, you got a flavor. And each flavor, you are able to recognize it.
Yeah. The problem with a lot of fusion dishes is that the all the sauce or whatever the things that they put is so strong that at the end you don't taste anything. So it's very important to me that whatever way you try to change the dish, say a Thai dish or Chinese dish or Spanish dish, you have to be able to taste the ingredients, right?
Sure. For example, for such strong flavors here, we need duck ham, but duck ham that has personality. It means we dry a lot of time our duck ham. It's just with salt and pepper, but you recognize the flavor of duck in it, and normally it's a very, very strong flavor. So you need to choose really in a good way all the ingredients for that dish.
Manuel, there is a high standard in France called Label Rouge. So Selectos de Castilla follow that standard, right?
Yes. In fact, you know that I am both French and Spanish, and in my family we used to breed ducks in a Label Rouge way. The Label Rouge is the best standard of breeding ducks. It means that we follow the step of the nature. It means that we only fatten ducks that are old enough to be fattened. Just in the nature, when they will fly their migration flight, they are big enough. So we wait that they have the right size to fatten them.
What was the right size?
It's more than 3 kilo and 8. If not, they are too small.
3 kilo and a half. So usually it's about 13, 14 weeks, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So you got good information. And,
I learned a lot from you.
And then when our ducks are adult and they are old enough, they are strong enough and prepared to make a great fly, then we fatten them. And we fatten them only, and that is only allowed with Label Rouge, with maize grain.
Yeah, you mean the whole corn, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very important
and
for them to go through a proper digestion process, so that actually the liver, the fat will be a high quality fat, is unsaturated fat, right?
Unsaturated fat that allow the fellows, the migrating fellows, to transform this fat in energy, instantly. It means that when they are flying, all the grease serve for them as benzene for our planes.
So I don't feel so guilty of having more meat good. And actually, I have to say that's like a ice cream for me. It's wonderful, and I can have it every week.
Duck foie gras is something that nature offers us, so it will be a pity not to disfrutar.
To
enjoy it.
Yeah, to
Sorry.
enjoy. I only learned this standard called label rouge from you. I really never really knew what it is, because when I chose your products, I remember I tried your products. I said it's so good, but I didn't know actually what is label rouge. Although Selectos de Castilla follows the standard of label rouge, and what I mean, do the French people know what it is?
Of course, label rouge is the best technical itinerary to breed ducks. It means that we follow the step of nature. We breed the ducks up to obtain an adult duck.
Adult, how many days?
Adult. It's more than 3 months and a half.
Yeah.
Able to fly big flies for their migration. Able to be strong enough to be fattened, because when we fatten them, they accumulate more than 50% of their weight in grease. So in grease, in fat.
In fat. Okay.
So they must be strong enough. They must be strong. They must walk a lot. They must do a lot of exercise to be able to support this being fattened. So it's very important to follow the step of the nature, and the label rouge give us the different steps in weight, in time, in the fact that we fatten them only with maize grain. Not porridge.
The feeding.
The feeding. Yeah. So we try to follow the nature, and this is the most important. In fact, in industrial breeding, we can breed ducks only in 2 months instead of 3 months, and to fatten them we need more than 15 days for label rouge, and it can be done in less than 10 days. With industrial way.
Oh, you mean the 15 days, the feeding time that the period that the ducks naturally want to eat a lot, right? To prepare for the journey of flying to, like, journey of migration.
Exactly.
So the 15 days, but the industrial ducks is only 10 days.
Yes, as we assisted the feeding, we can feed them too much. For me, it's too many times in a day, and we obtain the fatten very quickly. But in the nature, something quick is not so good.
Yeah, I mean that's why when you follow the nature, the products are a lot better and natural and safer for consumption. I mean, I know that because of the natural process that you have, and you don't have to put any chemical to kind of prevent any contamination, right? So that the product is natural and safe to consume, and much tastier. Manuel, many years ago, I lived in Galicia, and I remember I had the experience of looking for buying a duck in the market, or even in the supermarket outside Christmas time. Because there's a dish that I love making is the onion duck. It is actually a Chinese recipe, and I had a difficulty of buying duck. And also, when you go to the restaurants in Spain, you don't always find the duck dishes like you can find the micud or foie gras as like appetizer, but not easy to find duck as the main dish. Why is the consumption of duck is not so common in Spain?
Mm-hmm. Well, the first reason is that, first of all, in Spain we have a lot of other animals that we can cook very easily and with a great quality. I mean, for example, milky lamb,
Iberico pork,
pork, milky lambs, cochinillo, and so on.
Yeah,
and
suckling pig, and also the beef. Actually, beef is very common. Yeah.
And we got a lot of great chickens, and in all our regions we got real good meat. So what happened with the duck? The duck has been a luxury coming from France, initially in Spain, and even if in the late 10th centuries in Spain we knew about fattening ducks, to fatten a duck was not so easy for people who has not the possibility to get the knowledge. And right now, the gastronomy, that Spain has made in the last 20 years a great steps in gastronomy. They are very well known outside. You know a lot about that.
Yeah, I know. I love traveling to eat in Spain.
And the chief have traveled outside, so the Spanish are able to integrate dishes from other countries in their culinary recipes. So ducks in the last 20 years have become something easier to find in restaurants, and then 10 years later in supermarkets and outside. But it is still something exceptional. It has not become something very easily you don't find it easily in the restaurant, because there are still some fear from the cookers to work with it. It's a great and well-known treasure of the gastronomy, and the chiefs still are afraid of using it.
Why? But why are they afraid of using the duck product in the dishes?
Because a lot of knowledge. Right now, in all the international courses and schools, they show a lot about duck liver and duck meat, but it hasn't been the same during the last 20 years.
I have to say,
very new.
I have to say, I have bought Margaret, like the fresh one, to cook at home. At the end, it doesn't really come out really well every time, and so now I just buy your pre-cooked Margaret, and so I put it in the microwave, and then there's no chance of failure with that, so it's much easier. So I guess maybe cooking Margaret is you need some sort of technique, right?
Of course, when we help the cookers and the chief to do a good job, they appreciate it and they are able to do something very wonderful with a good product.
I love it.
They must know what they got in the hand before cooking, and we got a lot of job to do in that steps.
To educate the chef. So please, before we start, please like and subscribe and share my videos and channel. Thank you.